Hi everybody. Seasonal affective disorder. Many people suffer with that. It's commonly known, as winter depression, which comes and goes, and it affects people autumn, winter. Many people um, find it very difficult to cope with normal day-to-day activities, finding it more difficult due to symptoms of depression. Many people get it very severe, where lacking in interest, the lack of interest in your normal day-to-day activities, quite often sleeping more, finding it very difficult to get up in the mornings and sleeping during the day. This, like the body clock, the sleeping pattern, it affects the sleeping pattern. Mood, like affecting people's, like affecting your mood. Very low in mood all the time. There are many things. It's the symptoms of depression, feeling worthless, the feelings of guilt. It's very, I would say it's quite a common thing, but it affects your well-being, obviously, your mental health. So raising that awareness there, due to we're coming into autumn, winter, and many people out there getting affected by this, that seasonal affective disorder. Um, Ways of coping with it yourself. It's all about trying to, it's your self-help coping strategies, really, to be able to manage those symptoms, because quite often it affects due to lack in natural sunlight. During the natural sunlight, we lack in it, so sometimes it can affect those chemicals, the brain chemicals, the hormone chemicals like the serotonin, that gets affected, which the serotonin is your pleasure, your mood, and so forth, like how you're feeling, like your behavior as well. So it's all about trying to manage and cope with those symptoms that you may get, right, through the autumn and winter because of it. Quite often people may isolate. What do we want to do in the winter when it gets cold? We don't, when it's summertime, we can quite often, we want to go out, but in the winter time, it tends to draw you into your own natural, like your own, environment indoors, and that in itself, too much of that, the four walls, can cause problems, that sets in, making you feel depressed, setting in those depressive symptoms there. So it's like important to get out into the fresh air as much as you can, even in the autumn and winter, in the fresh air, the natural light. That will help with your mood. It will help with your mood. It will help with stress, like if you're feeling stress, it help de-stress that. Getting out, just going for a walk, that is a good thing to do. If you're having problems like your sleeping pattern, coping with that, making sure getting up in the mornings, getting into a routine in the morning, and getting up in the morning, and maybe going for a morning walk, that will do wonders. That will start to help. The more it will give you that benefit there and help you with those symptoms that occur with seasonal affective disorder. Some people, you know, it is hard if you're getting those symptoms, if you do get those problems, that depression that affects you in the autumn and winter. It's not something that, you know, is easier said than done to just do these things. You know, when you're in those moments and when you're feeling like that, you know, it's hard just to do it, just to go for a walk. Try to do your normal day-to-day activities, because the thing is, you lose interest in doing those things, and once the loss of interest, it affects your motivation. So it affects your motivation. You start to feel lethargic because of it. It's like a little cycle there going on, very negative cycle. So it's all about trying to get a routine set. The more you do it, the more you do these self-help to help yourself get through it, to cope with it, you will start to benefit. You start to benefit from it. At first, it may be hard doing these things, but gradually you will start to feel that benefit there. So maybe making sure each day, getting out into the daylight, the fresh air, going for a walk, it's very beneficial. Trying to get a routine with your sleep. So when you get up in the morning, having a routine there, having something in place that's you will have a purpose, a meaning to get up in the morning, because you may find it difficult getting up in the morning. So finding a purpose, having a purpose there to give you that push to get up in the morning. So maybe going for a walk, fresh air, like I said, getting into the fresh air, going for a walk. Exercise is very important, and especially in the winter time, because we may lack a little bit in exercise during the winter because of the weather and so forth. But movement is very important for our minds and for our body physically as well. So movement, just gentle, maybe some gentle exercises. Going for a walk is very important. Movement is for, like I said, our mind and body. Exercise, it will help reduce that stress. It will help to build back on, it will help with your mood. So it will lift your mood as well. It will help build back on your motivation. It will help with your motivation as well. Maybe as well, there may be time, being creative, having things in place that's going to pull you away from those depressive symptoms, to help with those symptoms that may occur through the winter through the autumn and winter, to help you cope with it that much easier. Being creative, making sure your mind is active as well as your body is active. Being creative. I don't know if you're into drawing, maybe poetry, learning a bit of poetry or something, just doing something that is creative. It's very calming. It's calming for the mind, and it's calming for the body as well. Calm all over. A healthy diet is very important. It's very important for us physically, but it also helps with our mood as well. When we eat healthily, it helps with our mood. So all these things are very important to help if you suffer with seasonal affective disorder. It's very important to have things in place that's going to help you get through those symptoms. Sometimes it's, like I said, it's easier said than done just to do these things. It may take a bit of time, but the more you push, the more you do it, the consistency, it will help you, it will benefit from you, and you will see these benefits. But also as well, if it's troubling you that much, see your GP. If you're getting those symptoms that just won't shift, also as well, see your GP. Talking therapies are very good for it as well, like your CBTs, counselling. It will help alongside whatever else that you do. It will work alongside with that, but it's very important being staying connected socially in the community, because a lot of the time with the depressive symptoms, how it affects the mind, we go with withdraw within oneself and so forth, so and disconnect from being socially connected, like disconnect and isolate from all of that. But that just makes the whole situation worse. So you have to try to do the opposite, train the mind, and you have to train the mind, because where it comes and goes, like autumn, winter, it's like a pattern there. The mind always goes to where it's familiar with, so it's changing that habit into good, positive habits to help with those symptoms. It will take time, but eventually you will benefit from it. So it's very important to have those coping tools in place to help you through it. And just remember, you may feel like the feeling of loneliness. You're not alone. There's talk. It's always good to talk. Like I said, the talking therapies, speak to your GP. There's talking therapies out there to help with it as well. Like I said, CBT and counselling and so forth. It will help you process what's going on and give you that space and ability to process it. And also, like I said, with your own coping tools, it will help with the other treatments that you get, like your talking therapies and so forth as well. So it's all about, and another thing as well, maybe because in the winter time it's dull and gloomy, and sometimes your living space in your room, where you know, like your living room, your home, sometimes feels like that, and it can make you feel a bit negative. So I find having things that are bright, you get like your indoor lights, that when it's a bit like, it brings in a bit of light. It may not be natural light, but it's lights, like they glow, so it's natural light. It brightens the room up. There are other things as well that you could get, like a lamp. Like we've got one, it's a salt rock lamp, and they're very good. You get different sizes, and you can have them on throughout the day, and they glow, and they're very calming. They got a calming effect, and apparently they help with anxiety and reduce that stress, because they've got a calming effect as a natural glow, and they're quite bright, and it's something really good to have on during the winter months in your living space. It helps just make your room a bit bright, makes it a bit of light in your room, a bit of calmness there. And there are many things that you can do, like to self-help with it, but it's most importantly, each day, if you're having those difficulties going out because of those symptoms, how it withdraws you within, sometimes you really have to push yourself, because just getting out, even though when it's autumn and winter and the weather isn't that good sometimes, just getting out just for half hour, an hour, going for a walk, it will help with your mood and de-stress, help with the stress. It will help with those serotonians that in the chemicals in the brain that boost your mood as well. And also as well, it will gradually help with your motivation as well. So there are many things you can do for it, and it is quite a common thing which affects people, and it affects people's mental health. If you're already suffering with mental health problems, that's just an added thing, that more consistent, like an added thing on top of it. It can affect people's well-beings. It's quite common. So I'm going to end the video there. So don't forget to share, please. It's very important because many people out there really struggle with seasonal affective disorder, really struggle with it, and sometimes find it very difficult to get out of that situation of what is going on as well. So please share, because this video may be of some help to somebody or some people. If it just helps one person, that's good enough as well. Just before I go, I've done some videos last year as well during the winter months. So I will start to do some more videos for the winter of self-help as well, because that in itself is like affects people's mental health. If people are suffering with their mental health or the seasonal affective disorder as well. So yeah, please share, and if you wish to subscribe to my channel, feel free to, and see you in the next video.